Hey, this will be a quick video on how to control your GPU temperatures. If you're mining like me and like a lot of other people, I'm pretty sure you're interested in knowing how to control your GPU temperature. It sucks that HiveOS doesn't really show you your VRAM temperatures. It only shows you your GPU temperature, which is quite different than what you should be looking at. And I honestly do not know why they're not supporting the VRAM temperatures when there are other softwares that do already. Now I know some GPUs do not have that functionality, but I know for in my case the 3080s do support VRAM temperatures. And so I'm hoping at some point in the near future HiveOS would actually go on and add that functionality. For now, the way to control your temperatures, your VRAM temperatures, is through your power limit. These are my settings that I have right now for my 3080s tough. And these things get really, really hot. Unlike the EVGA, I forgot which one this is, the FTW3. Those are amazing. I usually run them at 95 mega hashes and they still run cool. And I cannot say the same about these guys down here. And so I usually put my power limits at 210 whenever my room is, well, the room that they're in is cool. I'd usually run them at 210, and even at 210 they're a bit warmer than I would like them to be. um, but usually if I'm leaving for a long time, I would drop this down to 200 watts, and that would really cool down the cards. Now, once you drop down your wattage, it'll affect your mega hashes per second. And usually, when I drop this to 200, I go down 5 mega hashes down to about 80, 82s, somewhere around there. But the I'm assuming everybody here wants to have their GPUs running for a long time, and I think that would be a good bargain to just drop it down to about 200 and run cool versus running it hot and having the risk of burning down your GPUs and your VRAMs and losing all that money you spent on the GPU. I mean, these guys are going for about $2,000, $2,400 on eBay right now, secondhand. And so I'm pretty sure everybody wants to make sure that they're running cold and or cool, and are able to get their money's worth plus more. And so the easiest way you can think about this is your, like, what you're asking your GPU to do, or how hard you want it to go. Like, for example, if you're a runner, like, if you walk, you can walk a lot longer than you could sprint or run, right? And if you sprint, you're probably going to last, what, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. And then you're going to stop for air and, cool down and all these things. Same thing here. If you push your GPUs high, yes, you're going to get a higher mega hashes, but for how long can you really run them that hot? You're going to burn them out real quick. It could be days, weeks, months, but they won't last very long if you run them too hot. And so I think it would be much better to find the settings here that you like, um, and then start tweaking down your wattage. I started with 230 watts at negative 200 and 150, and I was doing about 90 something. And so but I was running really hot and I didn't like it, so I kept dropping and dropping. I dropped 50 at a time, and in here I was dropping 10 watts at a time. And this, I came up to this number right here, which was the most stable for me. Um, Now, if I'm going out of town, I would usually even drop it down one more, 10 watts. And so I'll usually have everything here going at 200 watts. And when I do, I usually make sure that it's actually they're running really cool, and I don't run the risk of them uh, throttling down or freezing down the whole system or turning off or anything. As you can see, well, it's been cold here in Texas the past few months. Obviously, we're in winter time. You could see I've been running straight, no interruptions, and that's at 210. But usually in the summertime, I would drop this down a little more to 200. This way, I make sure everything's running for a long time. And so, the takeaway from all of this is that find the setting that you like, and then once you get those two, the core and the memory, set to where you want them, start tuning down your power limit until the only way you could tell is by using. I've tried a heat gun. I don't know if it wasn't for me. It wasn't that accurate. So I usually just touch them with my hands, and if they're cool, if the back plate is cool, then I know that's good enough. And for now, that's how I'm doing it. Like I said, if I drop them below 200, usually the system will freeze up and restart. I think 200 is my sweet spot as to efficiency and heat. And then the 220s, 230s, there's a big difference in temperature for me between 200 and 210. And you should be aware of that yourself whenever you're doing those tuning, because 10 watts will make a huge difference. And so if I drop this down to 200, I know I'm going to lose 5 mega hashes, but then I will lose a lot of heat in the process too. And so, yep, play around and until you find the settings that you like. Usually, I try to write down what works in the summertime for me and what works in the wintertime. I actually use these miners as a heater during the winter. It keeps my house nice and warm in the wintertime, and then in the summer, um, obviously they cause me a lot of heat problems, but I usually tone everything down, and I'm now looking into putting exhaust fans in the windows to mitigate the heat that they're generating. Let me know if this works. If not, I can talk about this some more. But it's easy, but as easy as it is and straightforward, this should be number one on your list whenever you're setting up your miner, understanding heat that comes out of overclocking or not overclocking. I know like these things kind of run hot all by themselves, and so understand how to control your heat before you leave your miners running, and this way you make sure not to run into any problems and not have your house burn down because you overheated your miners. And with that said, let me know if you have any questions, and thank you very much.